Not many screenwriters slash filmmakers have the street cred that John Hughes does. He's credited for writing at least one hit movie for every year between 1983 and 1994. Several times he wrote 2 or 3 a year, and he practically defined a generation just through his movies. He already had one feature credit under his belt by 1983, but I don't think there's any doubt that Mr. Mom is really what sparked the John Hughes phenomenon. And Mr. Mom just so happens to be the movie that we're talking about on this episode. I'm Randy Kirk. Welcome to the table, everybody. Thanks for joining us again, and as always, I'm joined by my 2 lifelong buddies, Dewis, a.k.a. Uncle Dew.
Hey, yo.
And Steve.
Hey.
This is our second episode in our 1983 series, and I'm looking forward to digging into this a bit more. So, Steve, you never saw Mr. Mom.
That is correct.
You're a kid of the 80s. You're a John Hughes guy. You like comedies. Tell us, why didn't you see it?
I don't know. I think it just got missed. It was one of those that I just never got around to it.
I know how that goes.
I'm being interrupted. Sorry. Hold
Sorry.
on.
I'm a little parched. I got a liquid
fucking
death.
giant paw.
Grim Leafer.
Liquid Death. One of the other unofficial sponsor of this show.
I'll get the other unofficial here in a minute.
All right. Well, I don't know. I was sitting here talking, and all of a sudden this catcher's mitt with a giant ass gold can of Liquid Death just went right in my face.
Sorry.
I wonder how big your hand is. You ever measured that thing?
It's half the size of Andre.
Okay, half Andre. Half Andre. All right. Okay, so is the cover art with Keaton like holding the baby in the air and
the other 2 kids and Terry Garr going out the door.
Yeah. I feel like that visual just never like struck me as I need to rent this.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it was everywhere too.
It kind of was.
Yeah.
There was always some other one that looked better. You're like, I've not seen that one, but then, this one, I've not seen this one either, or maybe I'm going to rent this one again because it's so good. Like, I don't know, it slipped through the cracks.
Yeah, and we're still in our preconceived here, and we'll get to you here in just a sec. But
I also didn't know that it was John Hughes until recently.
But, his next ventures were, really about teenagers. And this one was about
So, point of
adults.
order, fun fact with Uncle Dew real quick before.
No, keep it going. I just wanted to say that this one is truly geared towards adults.
John Hughes gets fired from National Lampoon's Class Reunion. So that's his first one, right? He's surprised that he was even in the credits of that Class Reunion. So I don't ever see that as his first official movie. I feel that Mr. Mom is his first official movie.
That's how I feel.
Sure.
But, I mean, he did get a sole writing credit for Class Reunion.
Okay, yeah.
So, I mean, it counts, right? He got paid for it.
Right.
He got credit. It counts, right?
Right.
But I totally agree that John Hughes didn't begin.
Is that like Victor Fleming getting credit for The Wizard of Oz and
guess.
Gone with the Wind?
Yeah.
I guess so, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I also didn't know it was a John Hughes. I remember a fairly recent conversation. We were talking about John Hughes, and Randy pulled up the Wikipedia and rattled off all the John Hughes, like in order, because we were like, did he miss a year? He never did.
He never did.
And when you started the list with Mr. Mom, I went, oh, I've heard of that movie. I think that's the one with Keaton and holding the kid in the air and the whatever.
That's why I think the first year that he missed was 95, because 94 he wrote Baby's Day Out, and then in 96 he wrote 101 Dalmatians. He did nothing in 95. Mm-hmm. It's like, holy shit, up
Maybe
until that
he
point.
took a vacation.
Right, no shit. Not the Clark Griswold kind.
I didn't know that he did 101 Dalmatians. Jesus fucking Christ.
And he wrote
any ship in the water. And not mind you, good for him, because that's fucking residuals.
Damn right. Disney
like,
residuals, mind you. Yeah.
Like, not anymore. Now it's Cruella, and there's no.
No, there is residuals. Yeah, you're still getting a little bit.
The Hughes kids are sitting pretty. Yeah.
They probably went on vacation too, in '95 only.
Yeah. 101 vacations.
So there you go. That's what sparked the movie. It was his idea, you know. Nobody ever heard of this Dalmatian shit. My preconceived, I guess, was that I just, it wasn't for me. Like, I was like, oh, it's a family movie. To your point, the teenager ones that I had watched were very coming of age. It's why I guess I didn't really associate this with that.
No, it feels very. It's very. She's having a baby, you know, which he obviously does the adult-oriented ones from time to time. You know, he does Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, but
It's about that time, isn't it?
he typically does the teenage ones or kids, Home Alone, and he's very good at that. He can relate to teenagers. But yeah, this one felt off. Actually, you're preconceived. You had seen this before.
So I had seen it before. Rachel and I had seen it previously because growing up we weren't a Keaton house either.
Oh, Jesus. You weren't a Keaton house.
Wait,
Batman?
That was the only one. Beetlejuice, my dad hated.
Okay.
Well, so do I.
Gung Ho, nobody liked.
I love Gung Ho.
I do now. So I'm finding a lot of the films that my
Come on,
dad's like,
clean-
oh, this is
Clean and sober.
clean and sober, absolutely.
Jackie Brown?
So
Multiplicity?
I'm finding
Great movie.
I revisit things where it's like, oh, we don't really watch that, and I'm like, why? This was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
What's with Mr. There's a lot of parts in it where I absolutely love, but it just wasn't in our household, and so it just wasn't watched until I got a little bit older, and I was like, I love Keaton. My introduction to Keaton is I'm a student of stand-up comedy and the history of comedy and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. And so Keaton was a comic before he was an actor. Well, half and half, right?
He double dipped?
He was on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Oh, wow.
And then, like, the Mary Tyler Moore.
A regular?
He played the mailman, and he was one of the guys who worked the trolley.
Interesting.
Wow.
I don't think I knew that.
I didn't know that either.
That's a fun fact Lauren will do.
Hey, I love Mr. Rogers. So, I like PBS.
Yeah, I know.
So, Keaton, to me, like, his comedic style. So, he moves out from Philadelphia, from doing Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. He goes to California.
He's the Fresh Prince?
Yeah, he does stand-up at the Improv, and then he gets pilots everywhere, working stiffs. He was on the Mary Tyler Moore Show. He was a running character on that as well. I think he did like 5 episodes, and then he got all of this.
Yeah. All of this being
Mr. Mom.
The acting career?
So now you are a Keaton guy.
I am full-blown from Mr. Mom until,
Like Birdman,
the founder.
you're in.
Birdman. I didn't watch the new Flash because...
I didn't either.
Whatever.
Did anybody?
I'm very happy to hear that, though, because I do love Michael Keaton. And I think he's just off enough.
Right.
He's got that, where he's just off-kilter enough to be an actor.
Well, his comedy, and it's one of those, we had talked before that you didn't know that he was a comedian beforehand. Right. He was one of those comedians. It's like the vice versa with Robin Williams. Robin Williams was a serious actor before he was a comedian.
Yeah.
And so...
he should have stayed that way.
It's one of those situations...
I like both versions.
Where...
I like the version now.
You're surprised that, you were a comedian? God damn you. You're a comedian, and now you're known for these wonderful roles like Birdman and...
Yeah.
The one before that, Spotlight.
The Founder.
Oh, shit, yeah. Great.
So like, he was known in the comedy world. Very subversive comedy. One of his bits was he'd read a Bazooka Joe comic from a piece of bubble gum and just like get into philosophical tales between the characters. Like he'd do a commentary between the characters, and it's this long running trope. And of course, it's not on this little piece of gum's comic thing.
That's a good premise.
I'm into it.
I like that.
And so like if you know Keaton from his Beetlejuice acting, his Batman, you want to get crazy? Let's get crazy. Yeah. It's very on par for him, and so I'm Keaton full on.
I dig that. Yeah, but at the time, I saw this in the 90s. I didn't see it in the 80s because I was too young. But I saw it in the 90s, and number one, I feel like it was always on. Some cable channel somewhere. It was just always playing.
See, I don't remember that.
TBS.
Yeah, swear to God.
Yeah.
I just felt like it was, and seeing that imagery, him holding up the baby with the hand dryer. But also, adults in the 80s and 90s, I think that they just kind of put this over. So, oh my God, it's so funny. And then by the time I saw it, I liked it. But did I think it was hysterical? No. Because, one, it's a little bit dated by the time I saw it. And two, I'm not an adult, so I
Right.
can't relate to being a Mr. Mom.
So it kind of started off that trope of, hey, isn't it funny?
Right.
Dad's taking care of the babies, mom's at work.
It's a role reversal movie.
Right.
It's not quite body switch, but it's a role reversal.
Yeah.
And 83 is the start, like almost the start of all of that, you know. So this actually happened true to life. Hughes got the idea because for 2 weeks, his wife had to go do some sort of travel for her work, and so he had to handle the kids. And he goes, I had to handle the kids, and he talked to his co-writer / producer. Do you think this would be a funny movie? And she said, I think there's something here. And so that's how we got Mr. Mom from John Hughes.
It is still funny and still relatable.
The premise is fine. You know, I mean, it's like you said, Hughes is really good at writing everyday people
Yeah.
doing everyday things in a way that feel like they're not necessarily like you care enough to watch.
Yeah, situations that you can put yourself in,
Right.
like the stupid vacuum. Like I know it's an overstatement, it's an exaggeration, but this vacuum that has a mind of its own.
Right.
Everybody back in the day had those big clunky metal fucking beast of a vacuum.
Right.
And everybody had a hard time with those fucking things. So ha ha ha, I know what you're talking about. I had that same vacuum, and it was just he does a very good job of that.
Yes, I would completely agree with that. Hughes is I'm sure that nobody here that's listening to this doesn't know anything about, no, they already know everything about John Hughes. Obviously a, Chicago kind of guy. Almost everything is set in Chicago. This one's set in Detroit. So weird.
That was my first note about the goddamn thing, yeah.
The only reason he didn't direct this is because they shot in California and not in Chicago. And so
Right.
if it's not in Chicago, I'm not directing.
Right, but it's written about Detroit. Now, I guess it's about the auto industry, so I guess that's where you said it.
Makes sense, sure. But it doesn't have to be.
Right.
It could have been insert corporation here.
Well, he could have worked for the Chicago Tribune.
Well,
Exactly.
Gung
Yeah.
Ho was in Philadelphia or someplace in Pennsylvania. It was like Pittsburgh or something like that. Steeltown or something.
Yeah.
Once again, Michael Keaton working in the auto industry. You know, there's
the
a lot of,
trades. Yeah.
there's a lot of overlap. Christopher Lloyd is in the beginning of this film as
Yeah, Professor Plum himself.
Yeah.
right, and he's on his like '80s jag of being in everything after being the idiot in Taxi.
Right.
Now we get like key, and we're just rolling into the acting.
Just
so
a few years shy of Back to the Future.
But Lloyd also in a movie with Keaton later on in '91 with.
He may have, while you're looking,
Yeah.
he may have done Back to the Future next. Like, I don't know what
Dream
happened.
Team.
I don't think I know that one.
Dream Team. So they are escaped mental patients.
Good Lord.
And
I like
and
it.
It's him, Peter Boyle, and Christopher Lloyd, and they go
Wait,
around.
who is him?
Keaton?
Oh, Keaton. Okay.
Keaton, Lloyd, Peter Boyle, and they're escaped mental patients, and they just go from like they're having the best day out.
Sounds great.
I'm making a note of this right now.
Me
Yeah,
too.
Dream
Me too.
Team,
All right.
91.
Hey, did you see? No, you gotta.
Yep.
That's how this
Can
show
you
works.
Bring Dream Team to the table.
I will bring Dream Team to the table. We'll do Christopher Lloyd.
There you go, Christopher Lloyd.
I like that.
Anyway, he
When's
may
the
have,
last time you saw Dennis the Menace?
Oh, not that long ago.
well, yeah, you've got children.
Yes, Mason and Morgan both love Dennis the Menace.
I watched Dennis the Menace a lot when I was 14.
As did I, but tip of the hat to 30 years ago. That was a 93 movie.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, which is why we didn't cover it in our inaugural series.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? We were talking about
Christopher Lloyd.
We digress.
Yeah, auto industry. Hughes,
John
didn't
Hughes
shoot-
set in Detroit.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, it felt weird. And it
Right.
almost kind of like that's like the heart of Hughes movies.
Right.
Because not to say this movie does have a lot of heart to it, but it's missing that one key element.
So once again, this is where I think this is Hughes' first movie because he's cutting teeth on how it goes. He doesn't bring his heart to it, which is Chicago.
Right.
It is everything that we know and love of John Hughes to this.
There are some things that he did that are really good.
Yeah.
Like some specific dialogue that I thought was really good. There's also some stuff that he did that I thought was really ridiculous.
Yeah.
And my biggest problem with the screenplay is that there really isn't. There's no good objective other than just to live life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing that's time-bound. There's no physical destination to get to. You
Yeah.
know, like, I feel like there needed to be something.
Sorry. To an inanimate object, a bottle of water.
Sorry.
Yeah, I am sorry.
The Canadian bottle.
I did. I did. What's really shocking is I'm drinking a bottle of water. And it's not liquid death, unfortunately. So,
Yeah, you're right. I
Like-
mean, I guess the ticking clock is that, you know, him finding a job, which they didn't.
Right, but
they,
no,
being
because-
John Hughes didn't spend a lot of time with him on the hunt.
no, because they did the bet, right? And what was actually really great about the bet is that they set up the bet with dialogue and then they cut to she won the bet. Like, there was no...
Yeah.
There was no...
And it has one of my favorite lines and situations where, like, give the money to Kenny. Oh, we shouldn't do that. You know how it makes him obsessed?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we should really do something about that. Throws my... Because Kenny's, like, 3.
Right.
By the way, I'm a big fan of the actor who plays Kenny. He's been in a lot of things. He was in The Explorers with River Phoenix, and his name is Taliesin Jaffe.
What a name.
Yeah, he was a lot of these early movies. I think he was the kid in Kramer versus Kramer as well.
Oh, I don't think so.
I don't.
No, I don't think so.
The years wouldn't work, I don't think. Because Kramer versus Kramer would have been filmed in like '78.
Okay, it was something else.
Like, this podcast is a really just a cross-section of our
One-
day-to-day conversation.
One of the three of us called either one or the two others out. Yeah.
Like, hey, what was that thing?
No, that can't be right. That can't be right. That sounds wrong.
So he does D&D shit now.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so that's why I'm a big fan.
For money?
Yeah, actually, they get paid a lot of money.
Damn. I guess while you're looking at whatever his name is,
Taliesin Jaffe.
Taliesin.
Great name.
Yeah.
I get a fun fact that I had, which again, I guess ties into John Hughes' future success, is that this was the 9th highest grossing movie of 1983. I was a little bit surprised by that.
Top 10.
Yeah, it's a big goddamn deal. Number one, of course.
Terms of endearment?
No.
No. Go ahead.
Return of the Jedi.
Oh, sure.
So, Return of the Jedi, obviously big that.
Terms of endearment made no money, but it won the best picture.
It was actually the only movie of our three. You know,
My bad, he was the kid in Facts and Life.
Facts of Life.
And St. Elsewhere.
You
Elsewhere.
love St.
I
Elsewhere.
do love St. Elsewhere.
but it's the only movie of our three to make that top 10.
Yeah.
Interesting. The other two were nominated for Best Picture. This one made the most money.
Made money, not awards. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That's interesting. That's noteworthy, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in the long run, okay, let's put you on the spot. Would you rather make the most money, or would you rather win the Oscar?
well, see, now that's the thing. If we're talking like, can you be Mike Nichols or John Hughes? I'm going Hughes every day.
Well, I'm just saying, like, in a given year, you write a movie.
Yeah.
Would you rather make the most money of the year, or would you rather win Best Picture?
So it's more than likely that you get more work if you make money, because they're like, oh, this guy's a box office, so let's keep giving him work. Oscar, as we see with Cuba Gooding Jr.
That's the example that you're picking?
Okay, Terrence Howard. Like, you win the fucking Oscar, Adrian Brody, and you're off to fucking obscure.
But if you're from a screenwriter standpoint, you know, if you're talking, can you be?
Yeah.
Are you going to be Shane Black? Or
Right.
Are you going to be?
Diablo Cody.
Right. I'd rather be Shane Black.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
I take the Hughes over the Oscar win.
I think I would pick Hughes. Ooh,
I'm going Hughes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm putting up numbers for these executives, they're going to keep giving me back, and I'm going
Because again, what does that say? To me, that says that people went to go see it. People went to go rent it.
I guess
they made money.
My this or that was specifically about one movie. Like, you are the writer of one movie.
Yeah.
Would you rather be the highest paid person for making that movie, or would you rather win the Oscar for making that movie?
I'm going paid. And for the point that I just made, not to say that I'm greedy and that I want the money. It just means that people fucking
It's
liked
it's
it.
validating.
Yeah.
Okay. You're picking also the money.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Oscar.
Yeah. And why is that?
Uh
Because let's say again, let's say it's an indie art flick that, like, oh my god, like Snobs with their
Right,
champagne glasses
right.
are saying, it is such a refined movie. And so to say that that's the reason that you got this award is because it's a prestigious thing and whatever. So
I think the Oscar is more a validation of the talent, and the money is a validation of the like or dislike of the movie. You know what I mean? And I don't really care. I shouldn't say I don't care if people like the movie, because you do. That is, but like fan favorite versus Academy darling. I'm taking Academy darling. I don't know.
Interesting.
I mean, obviously we all love money. Like, it's not like one is, and you love Oscars. It's not like you don't want the other one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think
it was always that one of those things, like, working in film, what would you rather do? Would you make this piece or whatever? And I just want to continue to get work. Like, I'm making Kazam 2 with Shaquille O'Neal and, that kid who's probably on drugs.
And I think I'm looking at an Iron Maiden poster right now. And I think with Iron Maiden, they're one of those bands that they may make the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame one day, but they're not in it, and they don't care to be in it.
Right.
But they're going to continue to make albums that sell, and they're going to sell out arenas and things like that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. To me, that's kind of what it's more about.
You can get smart. Like a Hallmark being... Like, I've never seen what the business is on a Hallmark side of things, but...
Meaning the Hallmark Channel?
Yeah, like one of those Hallmark fucking Christmas movies.
That they're already playing right now?
God,
right.
Dude.
Like, if I were to...
the ads alone...
If I were to write on that, I'd take the back-end deal.
Oh, hell yeah.
And go, okay, only give me standard for writing, but... I want the back end.
The residual,
Every time you play this movie, I want to cut at this percentage.
It's a really kind of I know we're digressing, and I know that we're going to cover holiday movies coming up, but the fact that they create 20 or 30 new movies.
Least 22 new movies.
20 movies every single year, one a week, or two a week, or whatever it is, for like new movies. They write new movies every year.
We could write
Christmas movies. The three of us could have a Hallmark Christmas movie today.
Let's get those residuals.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sorry, I digressed. I don't know.
Technically, we're not in WGA, so this will get us in the door, and then we just keep making.
We just need a foot in the door, really.
Right.
Get that Dawson kid to be in our Christmas Hallmark movie.
Not the pie fucker.
No. I don't think he's been in one yet.
Yeah. All right.
Back to the movie.
Hey, see, we can even write a Hanukkah one because they now do Hanukkahs.
We're going high. Oh, right. So we're talking ninth highest grossing movie of 1983. So yeah, this was the one of the three that made it in.
We finally circled back.
Circled back on it. So
Jeffrey Tambor.
Yes.
Early Tambor.
I wrote down Jeffrey Tambor as my number 2, the second note after the John Hughes Detroit
Martin
note.
Mull as a villain is one of my favorite things.
Colonel Mustard.
Yeah.
He was tremendous. So walking it back, you're just spouting him off here. We're not talking. Jeffrey Tambor. Okay.
Yeah.
So I first learned of Jeffrey Tambor. Like the very first thing that I remember ever seeing this man on was the TV show The Ropers, which was a spin-off of Three's Company.
Right.
Where Mr. and Mrs. Roper like left and they moved away to their own condo, right? And Jeffrey Tambor was the next door neighbor of that condo.
Mm-hmm. Was this early 80s or late 70s?
Mid 80s.
Mid to late 80s.
Mid 80s, yes.
Oh, shit.
Yes, it was called The Ropers. And
I remember The Ropers. I just couldn't get a year on it.
Yep, and Jeffrey Tambor was the neighbor, so he had a major role. And so
that fucking show had 3 spin-offs.
Three's Company?
Yeah.
Well, hey, you know what? Everything, like, I feel like every show in the 70s had 2 spin-offs.
Absolutely.
And every show in the 80s had 1 spin-off.
Which brings me to another fun fact.
Go ahead.
Mr. Mom was a backdoor pilot. It was produced by Aaron Spelling.
Oh, okay.
And I saw that it was produced, yeah.
We'll treat this as a feature film. Spelling was like, none of my kids can see the movies that I make, so Mr. Mom's in that. But it was a backdoor pilot to potentially be a TV show, which it finally is in 2019, which...
I didn't know that.
They did this thing where the baby, the little girl... Mm-hmm. is in the Terry Garr role, and Megan is now the one going to work, and her husband is the Mr. Mom in this way. It was on Walmart's fucking streaming service.
They really did do a callback
12
to the Keaton version?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
12 fucking episodes on their Vudu service, VUDU.
Yeah,
Vudu.
Voodoo.
I'm familiar, yeah.
But yeah, it's a TV now. But
That's so weird.
That's rough.
yeah.
I wonder what the IMDb score is on that.
Oh, probably not good. Probably not good. There's a definite demographic that has that VUDU
Yeah.
service.
But Tambor, I mean, great villain. I thought, he just makes a hell of a heel. He's got that face where he's either funny and you really like him, or he plays kind of like the heel / villain and you're like, this guy's a fucking asshole. And
I saw a supplemental with him on Mr. Mom, and he was very proud of the fact that when Keaton throws the punch, they did it in one take. He was like, "Oh yeah, we only did that in one take." Like, okay, good for you.
Has he ever played a likable guy? I mean, he was kind of likable in The Ropers, but he was also like the curmudgeon-y neighbor.
He's been in one or two of the Farrelly Brothers projects, and he plays kind of likable characters
He
there.
plays a dopey Ed McMahon in the Larry Sanders Show.
Oh, okay.
Forgot about that show.
Yeah,
Holy damn.
everybody does.
Yeah, no kidding. See, I watched Gary Shandling, but not Larry Sanders.
Right.
Anyway, I was way too young to watch Gary Shandling, by the way, when I was
Same.
watching Gary Shandling.
Me too.
It takes a specific person to really love Gary Shandling.
I would like to go back and watch it now as an adult,
Yeah.
because I was under 10 when I was watching Gary Shandling.
It's gotta be. It was HBO, right? It's
Yeah.
Gotta be on,
Yeah.
Gotta be on Max right now.
Damn it, I'm looking it up when I get home.
The documentary that Apatow does about him is pretty spot on. I like it.
Interesting. Let's go back to Mr. Mom.
Yeah,
we
you
did
were
this
talking about Martin Mull.
Yeah, fantastic villain in that. No mustache that he's known for now, which throws you off just a little bit.
Well, I think my very first memory of him was on Roseanne,
Yeah,
because that was so early. I don't know when he started on Roseanne, but it was late 80s that Roseanne
fourth
started.
season.
So was that early 90s? right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
92, 93.
So when that, I was like, I don't know,
Yeah.
6, 7.
I feel like I
first saw him.
had seen Clue before that.
Yeah.
And I was by that age I hadn't seen Clue till I was like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
So,
And I was 8 or 9 when you were
You're
watching Roseanne
So
at 6.
yeah, so I remember him first on Roseanne, and then now this, and I'm like, yeah, he plays this creepy character, Mr. Mom.
The mansion obstacle course
Yeah.
that Mull makes everybody does.
Dude, what a blast!
That comes from Hugh Hefner in the Playboy Mansion.
Okay.
On their 4th of July, like, barbecues, Hugh Hefner would make people do relay races and whatnot. So,
And now, did everybody make Hugh Hefner win? Because I was really kind of pissed
Hugh-
off about that.
Hefner never,
well, I
never participated. It was everybody else.
I understand. Obviously, we all understand it.
Yeah.
But I got it. I think Keaton, throwing it for Gar, it made sense. Because if he wins, then the boss, the head honcho, looks belittled in front of everybody, and
I kind of thought that was the point, though.
it was the point. And I
And
think,
I thought that was going to be a plot point.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that was going to change the trajectory of Gar and Mull going forward. And then he threw it, and I was like, oh, we kind of wasted. Like, it felt like the whole thing could have been cut out then.
Right.
I think they being John Hughes, did a good job of bringing it back around, because there's the scene with Keaton and the chainsaw. He comes in with a chainsaw, and he's proving a point to Mull, being like, I'm the man of the house.
Yeah.
Hey, don't step on my territory. And then he throws the race by saying, like, all right, hey, well, I'm giving one to my wife. Like,
Gives the
all right, fine,
likability,
okay.
yeah.
But then at the end, he throws the punch, and he comes out the bigger man, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess in that way, like he lets him win the first round.
Right.
And then he gets the last laugh.
So it
Okay.
kind of worked for me, I guess.
Well, also, if you were going the other way, that wouldn't have been the ending. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I see it. I get it. Like,
Yeah.
to your point, it was like, oh, okay, I get it. It just bothered me.
I didn't mind it that bad, because I can understand doing the same thing if you've got, it is the 80s. A lot of sexist CEOs and shit back in the
And
day.
that's the thing. Like, I kind of thought we were past all that even by 83.
I don't think so.
No.
No.
That's still Gordon Gekko. Greed is good, baby.
Yeah.
Right, not quite Mad Men style.
Yeah.
But, you're...
There's at least women at the table, whether or not they are seen
Yeah,
at the
you can't
table.
legally slap on the ass anymore, but hey, it's like, you
Yeah.
can say, hey,
Speaking of Mad Men,
yeah.
great segue. Mad Men, the best scenes in Mad Men. You did not watch Mad Men?
Oh, I did.
Oh,
I
you
just
did.
didn't
Okay.
finish it.
Okay, I watched all of it, and my favorite scenes were the ones in the rooms where they were doing the pitches, right?
Sure.
So I got very excited when Gar gets this job at an advertising agency, and they're asking her about the tuna, right? And they're in the conference room, and legit, that was my favorite scene of the entire movie because I wanted the entire movie to be in the boardroom pitching ads.
That was a great scene. However, I don't think that in 1983 they're reducing any shit by 50 cents a can.
No.
No way.
That's
But
a lot of money.
It's a lot. What's tuna selling for? What's tuna now?
$1.25, maybe.
Not even.
So you're telling me that you're going to knock
89
tuna down
cents.
to
Well,
75 cents now? What's it back then?
Well,
10
I'm
cents a can?
guessing that it was probably like $1 a can or something because it was a high-end brand.
Sure.
Is what they were purporting.
Yeah.
But yes,
So-
50 cents a can is extreme.
Right.
I
I'm gonna get out the inflation calculator.
Please do.
think so. I lit up poor Meg Ryan.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, you did. Wait, why was she pegged for this movie?
No.
Oh, okay. I was like,
But I lit up Meg
you
Ryan
just don't like Terry Garr.
because we've all said that Meg Ryan plays the same thing in everything. Terry Garr is the same way. Terry Garr is insufferable. She plays the frazzled ditzy put upon. She was in Oh God, Close Encounters, Tootsie, One from the Heart, After Hours. It's the same fucking character.
Yeah,
Oh, sure.
I could see that. But yeah, I feel like that was pretty common back then. By the way, I have an update on the dollar situation. 50 cents in 1983 is the equivalent of $1.55 in 2023. So how much does the can have to cost to where you could reduce it by $1.55?
Right.
You're giving tuna away at this point.
Right. We're going to pay you to take the tuna home.
So, there's a lot of suspension of just ridiculousness for me. The scene where, at the same time, every fucking person she set up appointments for the TV repair, the fixing the water heater,
I'm so happy you're talking about this.
and spraying for all on the same fucking day.
I wrote down verbatim, no way all these service calls happen in one day without the super organized mom saying something about it.
Right.
But it's a funny comical trope, right? That, oh my God, I've got to juggle all of these appointments in one day.
The same fucking day is too much.
It was way too much for me too.
It's a lot, especially twice, right?
Oh.
It happens two
Right,
times in
right.
the movie where
The
they show up.
callbacks, right?
Why would I reschedule these on multiple days?
My other favorite scene, besides everything with little Taliesin Jaffe,
Fuck you.
is when he falls asleep in the chair and they do the melodrama.
Yep.
And he gets shot, and it was an ad lib, but Keaton grabs the beer as he's dying, takes a sip, and dies.
I loved it.
I fucking lose it every time.
I did think that was a little much, that whole thing,
Yeah.
the fever dream, but there were some things in there that were good.
Hey, that's mine and your mama's story, man. That's Y&R.
Oh my
That's Young and
God.
Restless.
My mother watched Young and the Restless for
Share-
many years.
Gaga and Do love the Y&R.
I was an All My Children kid.
I was in the know of Young and the Restless in the early 90s.
We love that Victor and Nikki.
Dude, Tiff looked it up because she watched a part of this movie with me. So she was like, Young and the Restless, he's still going.
Oh yeah,
He's 2023.
I think
he's still on it.
He's at a reduced role, but he's thinking of retirement soon because they just had an anniversary special that I did tape and watch.
So if he had a prominent role in 1983, we'll say this is maybe filmed in 82.
it was from the 70s
Dude.
too.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's been on the show for 45 to nearing 50 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Susan Lucci was on All My Children for 50 years.
Fucking hell.
You know?
Yeah,
Insane.
love me that Y&R. The
So-
moment that music played, I was like, oh.
Yep. So you talked about the repairmen showing up. So for me, the supermarket was a little bit of a stretch.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, I have that written down, a giant whole thing right here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just thought it was ridiculous because no matter how
He's the
frazzled...
only guy
He's
that...
the only male I ever written down.
the only guy in the whole store. But it's also just the fact that he loses one kid and then he loses another, and he's like, "Oh, this is your kid. I'm going to replace your kid with my
That's
kid."
not
That's
my
not my
kid."
kid. Like, it was just absolutely ridiculous.
He's made out to be the biggest idiot of all time.
Right.
He goes to the counter and says, "I want cheese." Like,
Well, I do think it was a little bit funny because he says, "I want ham," and she names off 8 kinds of ham. He's like, "All right, what about the salami? Okay, 8 types of salami." This is funny, but as a guy,
right.
and this is not a sexist thing, but we like meat and cheese. All right, I know what kind of ham I like. I know what kind of salami. I know what kind of cheese I like.
Goddamn right.
Just give me some, fucking Gouda or whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The fact that he just said, "How about cheese?"
Yeah.
Like, I almost turned the movie off. I might have every night I had homework for this show.
Yeah.
He literally runs head on or a full on collision with carts,
Yeah.
or buggies as you call them. Randy's a buggy guy, which is fucking weird.
I did like the settle out of court line where he gives her a bag of chips and said, even though she'll have to pay for it anyway. Ha ha ha.
You're a weirdo.
But like he's never pushed a cart around a store before.
Right.
Like, he's an adult male. He's 30 years old or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
But-
it was so ridiculous. It turned me off.
I do think that these tropes they had a little bit of truth in them 40
Sure.
years ago.
Well, sure,
Because
but they...
Put any of our dads in a supermarket in 1982 or 3, they could see the comedy in this. We can't because,
We do it?
Yeah, we do it all the time. Our dads, I don't remember my dad doing a whole lot of grocery shopping.
Oh,
back
my
in the
dad
day.
used to get in trouble.
So, if he did the shopping,
Yeah. Because he was just like, "Oh, this is this. I'm grabbing this." And it's like, you got the price. Check the price,
yeah.
Robert.
Yeah, I don't know. I learned that from my grandma. You
Yeah.
know, she'd be like, we need canned mushrooms.
I'm a notorious
get the one
ad
that's
looker
cheaper.
because of my
Damn right.
mother.
Yeah.
You're a what?
I check the ads every...
Oh.
Right, but as long as it's grade A food, right?
Yeah,
it's grade A.
I
hey,
used to
fuck
do the coupons with grandma. We would go through and
Absolutely.
and she'd have the little pouch thing with all the alphabetical.
Okay, the fucking poker playing
The poker game, sure.
with the coupons, that was kind of funny.
Yeah, well, I didn't think it was. I thought it was clever. I didn't think
Yeah.
it was funny.
I mean, I chuckled, I think.
Yeah.
at it.
I don't know. I just like it. I thought the movie was amusing, but I didn't think it was funny. If that makes sense.
I'm trying to think of a part. I don't know if I ever laughed out loud.
No.
Like I said, I might have chuckled, like, that was funny, but that was about it.
Yeah, does a huh out loud count as a laugh out loud?
No.
Because
A
the
chortle?
one a chortle. The one time I did chortle was at the end when the Terminex guy says, "I'm going to go check for bugs. I hope I don't find any." That made me laugh.
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay, Hughes, you win this round." At the end of the movie,
Yeah.
when everybody came back, another thing he did, fucking Hughes, he did the double misunderstanding on the cheating.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, yeah. This was also
An 80s trope.
a Marcy Daldron Frost from Uncle
Yes.
Buck,
Yeah.
where she's trying to lay it on thick for Keaton. Marcy from Uncle
Yeah.
Buck, she's trying to lay it on for Candy.
Yeah, I
So-
like the hyphen. She kept the hyphen.
It was a little weird. That
I kept the hyphen.
And then the fact that Miriam Flynn from Vacation,
Yeah.
she kind of spilled the beans and saying like, "Oh, Terry Garr cheated while she's in California."
Yeah.
And so she let the cat out of the bag, and then immediately this whatever her name is, she goes and tries to cheat with Keaton.
Right.
It's like, that seems a little weird.
Right. It was a little like Real Housewives.
So either there was some truth to this in the 80s, or this is just a huge trope.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like maybe there was a little bit of this like housewives are at home.
Yeah.
Who knows what they're doing?
Right.
Are they screwing the milkman kind of thing? You know,
Wine
Well,
knows, yeah.
That was always that was that joke back then, right? Oh, kid doesn't really look like me. He looks like the postman.
Yeah.
Or the milkman. Yeah.
Yeah.
the milkman.
The milkman.
Postman.
Postman.
Yeah, so I thought that, again, the double misunderstanding kind of honked me off because, I don't know, I was like, I feel like everything about this movie was like, oh.
Speaking of that misunderstanding, with Mull at the beginning, like you could tell, all right, he's interested in Gar. Hey, you kind of got this job because maybe I'm going to sleep with you. But then for most of the movie, they kind of like just skimmed over that. There
Right.
wasn't a whole lot of meat on the bone with that until the end when he
Right.
supposedly just like
I'm in love with you.
pays off the bellboy or
Yeah.
whatever. That's like, hey, get me in this room.
Yeah.
It's like what?
And how does she not hear him?
Right.
Yeah, it was a little odd.
It's a lot. This
a lot
movie
odd.
is a lot.
But-
Well, like, go ahead.
Again, you talk about Hughes cutting his teeth.
Right.
And I think like I mean, if this was my movie and
Yeah.
I'm cutting my teeth, I would be proud of this.
Yes,
movie.
agree.
Sure.
I'm with you that like if this is my first one,
Yeah.
okay, it's ridiculous, but it's successful. Despite the fact that he literally didn't know where the diapers were in his own house. Get the fuck out of here.
I mean,
in 80s, yeah.
You're telling me that she's the only one that's ever done a diaper? They have
I don't
3
know.
kids.
yeah. But early 80s?
Yeah.
No, I don't buy it.
Maybe.
I'm not buying it. And like you said, the
I think
vacuum
Hughes
going
didn't
nuts.
know where the kids' diapers were.
Well,
He seemed very into himself and they're like, honey, I'm riding.
Yeah.
you think so?
Oh, yeah.
But what I will say, I just made a random note here about Keaton and just saying, I mean, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
I thought that he was pretty good throughout the whole movie. And he does play mad or office rocker really, really well. Because I think he probably is. But
Right,
yeah,
there's a
he's
little
awesome.
bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he was like doing some coke or something on the set, but
He had to be doing coke.
I feel
think
like he did.
Absolutely through Batman
Him and
Returns.
Hughes together?
For the next 10 years, he was doing coke.
Yeah, I don't know, but you're right. He was the standout in it. I was very excited. Now I had not seen this, and I was very excited to see Doc Brown in the credits, the opening credits, and he really didn't have a role in the movie.
No,
he was in
I
like
wish he
one
had a
scene.
bigger role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I got excited. I was like, oh, I didn't know he was in this.
Yeah.
And then he's got kind of the executive, the coworker role, which is a B role. I get it, whatever. And I'm like, oh, it's 83. People probably don't even know who this guy is. Well, he was in Cuckoo's Nest too, right?
He was in Cuckoo's Nest and
Yeah.
Taxi.
Yeah.
He had some credits.
Yeah.
You bringing it back to the beginning where you said Christopher Lloyd had a part. I thought it was funny when he laid off everybody. He furloughed everybody at the beginning. This is
Yeah.
Tambor.
Yeah.
He laid off or furloughed everybody, and he said, "Oh, you're going to get your severance packages. You're going to get this, and guess what? I'm going to give you back your gas money."
Right. Because that was a thing in the car. It's like, you paid up for the month, and so.
Right, because they
Yeah.
carpooled, right? Like
Oh,
carpooling,
Hell
is-
of a deal.
Carpooling and ride sharing
Yeah.
back then is
Right.
very
It was
different than
so
now.
huge, yeah.
Well, yeah, this isn't long after the Jimmy Carter
Yeah.
era. So yeah. Anyway,
Well,
so
Let's put a bow tie on this
I was
pig.
going to say we can get some ratings here. All right, Frage, first time viewer.
Yeah.
What do you got?
He was. I wish that I'd seen it for the first time in '83.
Yeah.
Having done the entire run and lived my whole life of John Hughes.
But in 1983, you would have been the same age as what's his name?
Taliesin
Oh,
Jaffe.
Taliesin Jaffe.
You would have been the same.
I would have been. Do you have a birth date on Taliesin Jaffe?
Oh, let me look.
Taliesin Jaffe has never had as much.
Oh, he
screen-
has. Oh, he
in
absolutely
1983,
has.
you would have
Until
related
now.
to the Taliesin Jaffe character.
That's correct. I would have been walking around with that $100 bill.
Damn right.
77.
Oh,
So
shit.
he's older than me
Yeah.
by 3 years.
Some would say he is timeless in age.
Oh, Jesus
It's a-
Christ.
it's a
Okay,
joke.
anyway, I wish that I had watched this movie then because I have the entire John Hughes catalog in my mind, including Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which on any given day is a tie for number one of my favorite movie of all time.
Best Thanksgiving movie out there.
It's the
Damn
only
right.
one until this year. There's that Thanksgiving horror movie dropping, so that's going to up there. Anyway, so stay tuned. We're going to bring that to the table next year. I'm kidding. So having the John Hughes hindsight, it doesn't hold up, right? So it does have some good qualities to it. In the grand scheme, I didn't love it. I don't even know if I liked it. I probably won't ever watch it again. I gave it a straight 4.
Okay.
I also 5 if I don't have to see it again.
You went 5?
Yeah.
Do you go 5? All right. So did you lower your score this time? Like going into it, preconceived, you'd seen it before.
Yeah.
Let's say however long ago you watched it, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, would you have gone into it thinking that you might have given it higher than a 5?
No.
Okay. All right.
No.
So you don't remember it being more than a 5 and then it didn't hold up.
Right.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
all right. So
It,
then,
it has just been even for me the
Do
entire.
you, Randy, do you remember it being higher than your score?
No, because again, so I'm bringing this to the table. This is only my second viewing of this, and I'd seen it probably when I was 12.
Oh, okay.
So that was the last time I seen it, and I gave it a 6.
Okay.
So you 4, you 5, me 6.
Yeah.
Which average out at a 5.
At a 5,
50%. Yeah. Not a great movie, but again, Hughes, getting his start, it does have a little bit of the Hughes flavor to it.
Yeah, I
Little-
see it.
Edie McClure.
Little Ferris Bueller
Yeah.
antics in there.
Mhm.
A little bit of the ridiculousness, but I am grateful. Everybody's got to have their start somewhere. I love John Hughes. I'm glad that he got a start in the biz. So, where can you find us?
We're on X. Not so much on TikTok anymore. Haven't put anything out recently. Maybe we'll do a little bit more
For the holidays?
for the holidays.
Oh,
So we
we
should do
need-
Christmas carols?
Yeah, check out Facebook. There's a lovely share video that is up as we speak in our West Side Story. That's from last episode.
Did I
Sharon-
did I post my picture, my Halloween picture?
I don't
'Cause
know.
I feel like we needed to do that too.
Don't hurt our viewers.
Everybody that listens to the show is already at the party, so
Right.
We're just sharing some holiday spirit.
Heyo. We're on Facebook, the X, the Instagrammy.
Yeah, basically all of
Follow
these
our link
socials have the link tree on them, and then please subscribe. The YouTube is really the big one because like
Spotify. Yeah.
the algorithms and such on the YouTube help us out actually.
Yeah.
So if you can, I feel like if you're gonna pick one, pick the YouTube. Comment, please chime in. That also helps. Any sort of interaction, even if you just say "you fucking idiot." Having a comment is better than having no comment.
That, damn right. And we want to know, do you guys like Mr. Mom? Do you guys like The Big Chill or Silkwood or whatever? Speaking of which, cat out of the bag. Uncle Do, what are you bringing next week?
I am bringing Lawrence Kasdan's
Academy Award nominated for,
The Big Chill.
Yeah.
So
and this is a movie that you love.
I absolutely love this movie,
All right.
and I have a feeling that you guys don't.
And I have never seen this. And
I had
Randy,
never seen it
you've
either.
never seen it either. So,
So-
this is going to be interesting.
Oh, here we go. So thank you guys for joining us once again and voting on this series, and have a week.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye bye.